It's Nikki and welcome back to another Cook with Nikki. First and foremost, I want to say thanks again for all the support that I'm getting from everyone. It's so overwhelming, it means a lot to me, and I am by no means a top professional chef. This is just the simple recipes that I use in my home and that has worked for me over the years. So feel free to edit whatever recipe that I throw out there. Throw in whatever you feel that works best for you. So if I use like olive oil and you're not into that, you could use coconut oil or canola oil or vegetable oil, like whatever, simple things like that. Cooking's really not that hard. It just takes a lot of patience, and you have to have an idea obviously of what you're doing, but it just takes a lot of patience and time. Once you get the hang of it, you'll see things just flow. Like you sometimes can make a recipe, and if it doesn't come out the way that you hoped it would have, then edit it, make it your own the next time. You could do something from watching me, and if you don't like it, what I'm saying is you can edit it and make it your own. So if I use sugar, you don't like sugar, use something else, just to throw that out there. But so for today's recipe, to get right into it, I wanted to share my recipe for chicken coconut curry. A lot of us love chicken, but we don't know what the heck to do with it. So this is just another simple recipe of how to do something different with chicken. So to get right into it, here's everything that you're gonna need. Virgin coconut oil, black pepper, ground ginger, basil leaves, parsley leaves, curry powder, ground coriander, a can of coconut milk, salt, garlic cloves, brown sugar, lime juice, a medium yellow sweet onion. Don't forget your chicken, obviously. And then for my side, I'm going to do white rice. So the first thing I want to do is get started on my rice. That's going to take about 20 minutes. So I want to put that in and let it cook while I'm prepping the chicken. I've already added 2 cups of water to my pan, and this is 2 cups of white rice. So I am going to turn my stove on to a medium-low heat. Okay. I've already put about a teaspoon of salt in my pan because in Jamaica we say we don't want to dope your rice. You just don't want your rice to be bland. So be sure to add a teaspoon of salt to your water, and I'm gonna pour my rice in. For those of you who are not familiar with cooking rice on the stove, here's a simple trick. When you add rice to your I almost said pat, whatever. When you add rice to your pan, make sure your hands are clean, obviously, but stick a finger into the pan before it gets hot, also, disclaimer. But right where the first line of your finger, the first crease of your finger is, you want to dip that in the pan, and where the rice meets, you're not going to sink your finger all the way down to the bottom, just to where the rice meets. So as you can feel the tip of the rice grains, the water should meet you right at that line of your finger, and that's how you know you have the perfect amount of rice and the perfect amount of water. If it's good, then you're good to go. If not, you can add more water right then and there. I like to add butter to my rice. So I'm gonna go in and add about a tablespoon. I'm gonna let that sit for about 20 minutes, cover my pot so it'll steam, and I'll watch it while I'm doing my chicken. All right, so your next step is prepping your chicken. Now, I've already washed and cleaned and got rid of all the fat and everything that I don't need on my chicken. So this is what it looks like right now. And what you wanna do is to slice it up into bite-sized pieces. Make sure you have a nice sharp knife. Now I like to get the big chunks out of the way first before dicing it up real good. Now you're gonna cut these in even smaller pieces so they're like a little square type thing. Slice those up. All right, so these are my bite-sized pieces, and I like to give these another rinse again before moving forward and clean up my area because, you know, when you're working with chicken, you don't want to mix anything else with the chicken, raw chicken at that. So I'm gonna clean up and then move on to the next step. Now for my next step, I am going to add 3 tablespoons of my coconut oil to my pot, and that is going to be under. That is gonna be on medium high, and add your oil. So I'm gonna do 3 tablespoons. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with coconut oil, this is kind of what it looks like. I don't know if you could see that. But yes, it is a little hard until it melts down, but that's okay. Now, while my oil is heating up, really quickly, I am gonna mince up my onions, and this is one of my favorite kitchen gadgets. You could get it at like Target or in Home Goods, but instead of like chopping up your onions really fine, that takes a lot of time, I like to throw it in here and just do this. And then you have nicely minced onions. So I want to put this in the pot, get the rest of my onions. Ta-da! And I'm gonna saute these for 5 minutes or until they begin to soften. Keep stirring them because you don't want to burn. Right, now once your onions have softened up a little bit, you can go in and add your chicken. Now you want to do the same thing. Stir everything for about 5 minutes. You want to get that chicken nice and white so you know it's cooked well. So if you have to flip over tiny pieces to let them cook, do that. All right, so my chicken is all done. So right now, what you need to do is add your garlic. So I'm gonna add in my minced garlic. I need 3 teaspoons of ginger. And then 2 teaspoons of coriander. Now, if you don't have this, you can use cumin. That's a good substitute. And you're gonna stir this around for a minute. Now, after a minute, pour your coconut canned milk. Give that a nice good shake. And we're going to add the entire can. All right, now here's where you add your salt and pepper. And I'll be adding a teaspoon of salt for flavor. some black pepper, 3 tablespoons of curry powder. Now you're going to reduce the heat to about a medium and let it boil for about 5 minutes. So now that my chicken has been boiling for about 5 minutes, I'm going to give it a nice stir. And then you want to add a tablespoon of lime juice. And your 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. And this is optional, you don't have to do that, just to give it a little bit of a sweet taste. Now you could try your sauce to see if it's at the right place where you need it to be, or at this point you can add a little bit more salt and pepper. Mine's good, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of basil and my parsley leaves. I can turn that off now. All right guys, so my rice is done, my chicken is done, so now I'm gonna go ahead and dish it. Now you wanna give your rice a nice little fluff. And I like to spoon my rice into a bowl. I'll show you why in a second. So I flip my rice in that bowl upside down on my plate, and that's just a little presentation trick. And since my chicken is done, I'm going to add that. And voila! Coconut chicken curry with white rice. And I'm gonna top that off with a little bit of parsley leaves, just for presentation. If you wanna give this dish a little bit more color, you can add spinach and shredded carrots to it. I chose not to today, but there you have it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in once again. Remember to like, share, comment on this video. Let me know what you want to see me do next. I'll continue to share my recipes, but for now, I'm gonna go enjoy my meal. Thanks again. I love you guys so much. Catch you on the next video.